Is it finally Arsenal's year to win it all?
No. To win it all?
Scored in the last weekend, so I'm happy with that and I want to continue that.
Perform and go on to hopefully win the big trophies. You want competition in the team.
Of course, Arsenal drop points. That's football, but I think Arsenal fans want to win the Premier League.
The important thing is get yourself the right context.
Question is, I didn't ask it.
I don't think they're going to win it all. I do think they've got a very good chance of winning the Premier League and a trophy, but I don't think they'll win, 4 trophies. No.
Yeah.
But they're in a good position.
What do you think they will win?
I think
if anything.
It's so early, but maybe the Premier League. I don't see why not. I think they've got as good a chance this year as they've ever had. They've got a strong squad, strength in depth. They look good at the minute. But you've got to get through Christmas, you've got to get through January, February. But I don't think anyone's going to win 4 trophies this year.
If Arsenal, another one I'm chucking in, if Arsenal, say, only won the Carabao Cup this year and came second again in the league,
I know, yeah.
Would that be a good season for Arsenal?
No.
No?
And that's what they expect. And they have enough in the club to win the Premier League. So, unfortunately, because they've done so well previously and what they're doing this season, I think a win is, winning the Premier League is it, or else it could be deemed a failure of a season, maybe.
Well, this leads into the next question. Someone else has asked, if they don't win the league this year, do you think Arteta will go?
No. I don't think he'll get the sack, and I think he won't leave because he's very invested in the project at Arsenal. He's at the heart of it all. It would be a setback because I think he's so desperate to win it, but I don't think he'd.
Is it dead man walking us this year? We're talking about, have you got 2 or 3 months? No, we've got 2 or 3 games.
Wild West,
That's
it's crazy.
It has to be a philosophy throughout the club.
But why would you play a system if you're saying you don't have the players to play it?
How much more grace do you need in respect of a team that's got to progress and do better than what they're doing?
It's not coming from the media or people that run us back to own supporters.
I'd like to see Atletico Madrid, Simone going there. I think he would just create havoc, but good havoc.
He speaks his mind because he's got personality. And then people...
But they can play a bit.
They're fighting.
Yeah, definitely they can fight.
Yeah.
Some of Liverpool a few weeks ago. The team aren't as great as they were a few years ago, but there's still that fighting spirit. He's on the sideline causing, he got sent off that night, didn't he? I'd like a big personality.
I
think he gets talented players working in a ridiculous way.
Yeah. But he had his mate was with him at Arsenal, the director of football.
Andrea
he was a big he was a big part of the success, I think, at Atletico, the recruitment side of it.
Yeah, that's a good shout, Roy.
He's an Arsenal fan, though.
Is the next one a Liverpool fan?
It can be if you want.
Good laugh, James.
Does the last week mean that Arsenal will now win the league?
You know something? What last week done was it reaffirms to people that, listen, we're in there with a great chance, with a great squad. I think we've got the best squad in the league at the moment. I don't care what anyone says. And now it's up to the manager making sure that he puts the right piece on the pitch at the right time, simply because I've seen a couple of results where I think he should have started with different people and get the game done. But then he does his thing in respects of bringing people on as finishers.
He changed at Newcastle, didn't he? He was more positive at Newcastle.
He was more positive, and the thing we needed to be. Because I think that when you look at last year, I don't think there's one time that when Liverpool slipped up, we were able to benefit. We didn't do it. And I think that when we done that against Newcastle, it made us realise, OK, this is a step forward in respect of what you're trying to do to make sure that people see that you're definitely in this fight to stay as long as you can. Now that Arsenal are top, everyone's saying, it's Arsenal's now because we've seen what's happening with Liverpool. I'll not write off City. But of course, Arsenal are in the driving seat. And now this is where we're going to see the mentality and how the players now finish this off. They've done it 3 times, finishing second. They know what to do. They've been chasing, obviously, City and Liverpool for the last few years. It's their time. So it's up to them now, mentally and physically, to go and do it.
Different expectation, all right. Maybe they're expected to win it. No, maybe.
You know something? Roy, I just
they shouldn't be afraid of saying that either. You know what I mean?
No, and this is the thing now. Arsenal are in the position
I think you've got
to go and do it, And this is what I'm excited about it.
Do you think you need Gyokeres scoring more, though? Because
you're always going to need people scoring more.
If you look at Haaland for City, obviously Arsenal are getting a lot of goals around him, aren't they? Imagine if you put Haaland in Arsenal.
Any team, yeah.
Oh,
No, you put Haaland anywhere. Put him anywhere, especially in this kind of form. You know, in this kind of form.
I think Roy said about expectation there on Arsenal in the last week because of people. I'm not quite sure at this stage that will bring a pressure to them. I think if they're in that Arsenal dressing room now, I think even Mikel Arteta, their eyes should be wide open saying, that prize is actually there now. Yes. I think for the first time, I reckon they actually might just sit in that dressing room and think, there's a long way to go, but I actually think it's ours, this. And we've got to knuckle down and win it. I think generally they must be thinking that, like, almost like, eyes are too big for your belly, it's there.
The only thing that can stop you is that thing that's probably stopped other teams in the past, where you get to March, April, and you want it so much, and the support want it so much.
That's where Liverpool need to hang on the shoulder.
I think at the moment Liverpool aren't Liverpool at the moment, and I agree with you what you said. I think we've all said it, haven't we? That I think Arsenal got the best squad. They're looking obviously better than Liverpool right now, and Liverpool might take a few months, to integrate new players.
They'll come and do a bit.
They'll come back. I would imagine that, but I think what you used to do, I think Ferguson used to say, if you're sort of 3 or 4 points off the lead in getting into January.
With the team that haven't won it as well.
Especially.
Exactly. And I think if Liverpool could find themselves, even if they were 5 or 6 points behind you, even sort of in February.
He wants it more than that, right?
Talking quite negatively about Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've not, I'm saying speaking negatively about Liverpool. I think Liverpool will get better because I don't think that their actual points they've got on the board, they probably don't deserve for their actual performances in some ways when you're watching them. And I think there will be still moments before Christmas where they drop points in games you don't expect it. Of course, Arsenal drop points, that's football. But I do think if Liverpool could almost do that, and City, that sort of Manchester United thing of old that you used to do, and maybe just wait there. Do you think there could be a bit of nervousness?
Don't be writing Bournemouth off.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Doing well.
You know what I mean? Ideally, what you want is Arsenal to run away with it. I mean, run away and then, to a point where even if you lose a couple of games...
That's unlikely, that right?
This is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. I'm talking...
So when you first won, you very rarely just run away with it and blitz everyone. I can't see that happening.
Yeah, but you just mentioned about picking a utopian manager. I'm trying to pick a utopian scenario.
Well, that'd be... Right? Yeah, that's perfect.
Right, so what I'm saying is, that's how I'd love it to go, Roy. Yeah. It doesn't go like that.
No.
So what we're seeing with our team is that we've had the experience the last three seasons of what it should be, what you should do and how you have to finish it off. And so this is when it comes to February and March and that's when we'll see...
Did I read a stat recent? When did Arsenal last win the league?
2004, wasn't it?
And was it 3 seasons before that they'd finished second as well or something like
it's
that?
The Invincibles, was it, the last one?
Yeah, I think the Invincibles, was it? 2, 3, 4 or something?
Do you think if Mikel Arteta was offered the Champions League or the Premier League now? I mean, I'd say Premier League all day long, but what do you... Because Arsenal have never won the Champions League. And it's obviously a big ambition as well.
I think he'd take the Premier League.
Take the Premier League, yeah.
Well, if he could only pick one.
Not first.
Never won the Champions League.
Yeah, I think that Mikel, because we're talking about the personality, he would want the Premier League.
Yeah, I think for the manager, I think he wants
That's what I think he'd want, James. I think the fans obviously would want it because it's horrible when people say you'll never sing that, right? So I think that's something that I would like. But I think that he'd want the Premier League, and then he can have that large excel and let's go for the Champions League. Let's go for it now.
First man to win the Champions League for Arsenal, that'd be pretty special.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just think about it. I said on Saturday actually after the Chelsea-Liverpool game, and I saw your piece on Sunday night where you disagreed with me about. I said that I thought Caicedo now was the best midfield player in the league and 2 midfield players over there.
What a goal, by the way.
Yeah, and I mentioned obviously Gravenberch and Rodri over the last couple of years and Declan Rice. They're the sort of competitors for that sort of position. McAllister's done well at Liverpool as well, and there's a couple of others. But who do you see as being the best? If you could put one player into United or to City now, and it was Caicedo or it was Declan Rice, who would you say was the best midfield player in the league?
Just jump in here something as well. Scholesy, to be fair, when I was with him yesterday, he's a big fan. I'm a big fan of his, but he mentioned Tonali of Newcastle.
Yeah.
Okay, as better than those two.
Well, I think he did, yeah.
Okay. I imagine the two lads at Newcastle have done brilliantly well. I mean, Tonali and...
Their midfield's been brilliant.
Oh, it's brilliant,
to be fair, when
Maybe they
you
don't
watch
get the coverage
game
in
against
tonight, but
Liverpool
you do watch him. He does definitely have an impact. I'm probably not going with anyone apart from Declan Rice.
Best midfield player in the league. Best midfield player in the league.
I'm a big fan of Declan Rice, to be honest. I just think he's got a bit of everything. I like now that he's pushing forward a little bit more. And I just love his work rate, his endeavour. And I think what people always like to see when you speak about the goals is the 30-yarders and whatever else. But he's back in his own box, like blocking shots. And I would probably pick Declan.
Yeah, he's kind of
go with Rice every day of the week.
Over Caicedo.
Just that little bit, that package. He's got a little bit extra on all the other parts. say though. I think I'd go with Rice.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, emphatically right. Do you want to close that off?
Yeah, Declan Rice.
I have to go with an Irish fella, didn't I? Rice.
Always have to get that
His
in.
performances speak for themselves.
From Rory, can a coach really be so stuck on a formation?
You see it happen though, don't you? I think if you look at Man City and the way they get so caught up, I think it becomes a bit of stubbornness sometimes. They're like, this is my way and it's the only way we're doing it.
Yeah, but then when it's successful, and you know it's successful because players are carrying out the plan, what the manager does, and other players, whatever, they know what the system is, but you can't stop them because players are on form doing in the system. Why would you change it?
Yeah.
But why don't we look at our own experience? We've all played for some brilliant managers, and they weren't all. Well, I speak of the ones I worked under, they weren't necessarily set in their ways, and these guys were winning the big prizes. That's
I think when probably most managers, and where I think Amarin's different, is that they all favour a system, I would say, but what they never change is the style in some ways. So you think of sort of Klopp's style, no matter what formation it is, you know what his team are going to do. Ferguson, you know, attacking, a gambler, winger, whatever. Pep, sure, passes through the middle, so sometimes he'll play a dime and two up front, 43. His style's his system, if you know what I mean. I'd love to ask him. I mean, this will probably happen when he loses his job, probably. But what is it about that system that you think gives you more? He must think his team have got more chance of winning. What is it that you think? So I understand when I always think when a team get promoted and they play three at the back, and I think, okay, maybe the manager's thinking that because he's thinking set pieces. I've got three centre backs. I've got three big people to defend set pieces. I've got me five at the back because we're going to be under pressure. I can get why teams coming up play that system, but for me it always feels like a pragmatic system, a system that might be hard to play against, not so much for United, but it's not sort of on the front foot. You can always be pushed back.
About system, the one thing I find strange about United going over last year and going back to the league table last year and the league table is always United on minus goals. I find that amazing. You know,
I know stats on that,
they're behind on goals. It's not as if United are winning, losing a few games, but they're plus 15 goals, so there's still an element of just a bit of entertainment there. United are on minus goals.
Well,
after
50 games, Roy in charge, he's +2.
Oh, he's plus 2 under 50 games. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man United manager.
Yeah, that's.
Just about the system. I know that obviously Amarim has said that the system isn't a concern, but you are asking, you know, who grows up in their first 20 years of playing football or 15 years of playing football from 5 to 20 playing wing back now. So you're asking someone in any part of the world or in Europe. If you think about it, no kids teams. I mean, if you think about learning a way of playing. No one, and that wing-back role is really quite nuanced in terms of where to be when you're attacking and you're defending. You know, you need to know when to do that and when to do that and when to go forward and where to be on the back post. And for me,
so how long do you need, like, how long do you need to, like, when the manager came in at United, he went, obviously he was obsessed with getting to pre-season, so you're going to go, at least that's your chance to work on the training pitch. I know as well this year when they got beaten by Grimsby and they're out of Europe, they'll have all the 3 weeks to work on it now. But how long do you work on a system where people go, yeah, we've got it? Yeah. How many sessions do you need to get used to playing with wing backs?
Yeah, so those wing backs are a problem, I think, because you find it like
so what is it, Gary? So are we talking about, is it the players or the system? What's the problem?
No, but what I'm saying, you can't ignore the system with this one because of the fact you're asking players like Ahmad and Dalot and Mazraoui and Gorgie to play wing backs that probably maybe Dorgu has, but the others haven't played
Sorry to keep interrupting. So why would you play a system if you're saying you don't have the players to play it?
I know. And then the other one, the biggest problem is the best player in the club and has been the best player for 6-7 years is definitely better either as a number 10 in a central position with a bit of a licence to float, or as a 3 in midfield where he's basically, you know, he's got 2 behind him or he's got basically sort of like a 1 here and a 1 there. He's either having to play deep in a deep line 2, or he's having to play almost like as a wide player and chase fullbacks back when we're defending.
I don't think any top club, and I know in the past few years Inter Milan have done really well getting to Champions League finals playing this system, but I think any top club should have serious reservations about ever employing a manager who has played that system, because 90% of managers play a back four or play 4-3-3 or play 4-2-3-1. So all it means is the changeover in players. Because you're never going to... I was going to ask you, do the youth team play like that now, or do the reserves
I think they've changed. I think the reserves do. Apparently, the youth team don't. Is what I got told last season when I was asked it. Basically, they haven't implemented it to the academy, but they've put it into the B team. I think so. The players that could come in are getting used to it.
It has to be a philosophy throughout the club. Like when we were at City, the men's team played the same as the women, as the academy. You could go and watch the under-7s who were doing the same thing. But when you speak about philosophies, if we changed how we played, I remember our striker was out injured, and it's obviously, if you're missing like a Haaland or something like that, then we had to change. And I remember we won the game, and the manager had to go for a meeting on the Monday to kind of justify why he played a different way.
But Roy's question is it the players or the system?
You can't deny. Do we agree?
The players are better than the players are better than where they are in the league playing this system.
Yeah.
I think if they played a different system, they would be better. Not amazing, still nowhere near good enough for Man United. But I think there's a squad of players there that should be quality, challenging for European positions. With the system that they're playing now, if you look at the results over here, they're a bottom half team.
So his trouble will be, it will continue to be, if the players are doubting this system. And if you're not winning every week at United, or most weeks, you will have them doubts. Yeah. And if the manager's not going to change his ways, them doubts, just trouble ahead.
Eat away at you.
Snap out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they were getting results on the back of you going, you get confidence going, this is the way we want to play. But if you're not getting results, you'd have doubts in the players' minds.
But Gary, Jamie, you've obviously both played full-back. Like, imagine if you then got told to go and play wing-back. Like, we're saying people should be able to adjust, but what would be your biggest worry?
Or to go in centre-half.
Yeah.
So,
Liverpool reserve.
I had some experiences with that, and to be fair, if you think about it, I was comfortable going from a right back to a right centre back in a 3 and did that many times well. Mm-hmm. But the 2 times I was moved into a right wing back role was for England. Once was, in fact, I did it 3 times. One was in a friendly against Italy, but one was basically in the Euro 96 quarterfinals against Spain.
Yeah. Didn't
play particularly well. I got booked. I was more of a defence. I was more of a back 5, to be honest with you. I didn't play it well at all. And then the other time, it's the only time I've ever kicked off a football match knowing that I was going to have a bad game and it wasn't going to go well. Croatia away. Steve picked to back, basically the day before the game. I always remember speaking to my brother in the warm-up, and he went, "It's not right, this, is it?" I went, "It's definitely not right." So I was a 30-year-old, played right back, could play right centre back.
Was Phil playing, just quickly? Was Phil playing?
No, I don't think Phil was playing.
Just put
that little doubt in your mind just before he left.
The team was you, John Terry.
I don't know who the other centre-back was.
I'm lying on the bench next to me. Both of us are playing, we're in trouble.
So there's a back 3, and I don't know who was right, I don't know who was left wing. Was it Ashley Cole?
Ashley Cole, probably.
So Ashley Cole was left wing back. Who people think, Ashley Cole would be a good left wing back. Ash would have hated left wing back, by the way, because he basically wasn't a winger anymore. He was still a full back that basically could defend and go forward.
Can I ask you one question before you get, for a full back to a wing back, is it the basic difference as well in possession? When you're a full back, you're kind of looking on to play a little bit. When you're a wing back, you're kind of you're already up there.
You're up there.
So you're like,
right.
I said that about Trent. Sometimes going on to the play, he's brilliant. But when he's up there and he's shoving him in midfield,
absolutely. Right. The team was Ashley Cole, Carragher, Terry, Ferdinand, and me. And I remember thinking that's a really strong back 5 on paper. You think no one should get through us. But you're playing Croatia away. But I just knew that we tried it in training the day before as a 5.
That's the only time you tried it?
Yeah. And on the ball, I just knew it wasn't going to work. We were never going to get a goal.
So you felt, well, obviously that was only one session, which is obviously tough going. Yeah. But your mindset couldn't adapt to it. Yes. You're like...
No, I found it difficult, Rod, because I thought, something? I know I'm not going to give the team an attack what it needs down the side. I know my capabilities. It wasn't a case of being lacking in positivity because we desperately need to win that game, by the way.
There's nothing wrong with that, knowing your strengths.
But I just thought, if you're expecting me to get up there and sort of whip crosses in and sort of go past people and make underlaps, I mean, even Ash wasn't comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I just knew.
I was the one who came in to change. If that's your back 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, but I always remember. I'm sure Eriksen. So McLaren comes after Eriksen, doesn't he? And at the time, Eriksen, he always played the same team and the same formation. And I think he'd been criticised a lot for not being adaptable. Yeah. And I'm convinced McLaren just wanted to, it's a tough game away. OK, this is where I can show. I'll throw a different thing in. I think Steve had a little bit about
flexing.
Yeah, but having said that, Croatia away is going to be difficult anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Croatia's a hard place to go.
Especially when your wing back scores an own goal.
What was the score?
That's a great point. Yeah, but what am I going to say to you?
What's that to do with the system?
No, but roll it to the side. You would have been told that when you were 5.
Yes.
I know.
After the goalkeeper, Casey Shanks it and it goes
I love the fact that Phil just gave a little in your ear.
Yeah.
It's not right,
Gary.
Gary, I don't like it, Gary.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'll give you another reason why I think that probably came about. I think Terry Venables was Steve's assistant. And Terry was flexible 3 to 5, 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And he'd done it with me before, like going from sort of right centre-back or right back to... I was the one that used to move from 3 positions. In the Euro 96, in 3 different games, I played 3 different positions. Right back, right centre-back and right wing-back. But I was 30 and I just couldn't play right wing.
Going from a right back to a centre half in a 3, you found not bad.
That's fine.
Just being higher up the pitch.
Yeah, higher up the pitch.
ball height right.
Not defensively, no problems
that's what I mean,
defensively.
yeah, but
I'm talking
in
about
possession,
in possession. I'm actually receiving the ball where a winger receives it.
You want to give it to the winger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I get it, there's nothing in front of me to hit.
What was the score that game?
We lost.
2-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got beat. We didn't score a goal, and you wouldn't score. Have you ever changed your opinion about a player or a manager after meeting them personally? I've
You?
loads. Him?
I have to say, Roy is someone that changed my opinion on. I love
What was
him.
your opinion first?
He was. I didn't know how to take when we played. I didn't know how to take because he was. He always looked at you disdainly.
I did not hear. That's
You know,
sash.
no. Let me explain. He looked at you in a way where because you're my opponent. He never gave you anything in his face, right? So that's what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? So he was like that. I never thought he was somebody that I'd ever want to be around or talk to because he just sounded such a dickhead. Like when you'd speak to the people, because at the time, you know what I mean, it was a different time for Roy when he was playing. All I heard about him, I would never feel that me and him would be like we are now because like he was a nightmare apparently.
You are
And then he was obviously he was a great player as well. So I dislike the fact that he was so cool off the pitch because he could do all that stuff with the guys. Oh, all the lads love me. And then he was a great player. And so, you know what I mean, he's that kind of person that you admired and was jealous of at the same time. Envied. He's great. He was great.
I never had a bad opinion at all because I did like him, but someone that I now love, actually, after having on here, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was so lovely.
Sweet,
and obviously, I only seen him like on the TV and stuff, but just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a bad opinion first. So
I would actually say you.
Yeah, you should do.
I would
Because
actually.
you too.
I can't believe that you're actually quite funny. you do make me laugh. I never thought that would happen.
was it Steve Gerrard who did an interview this week and he said he never thought you two would end up being mates?
Yeah, but it's a brilliant.
Yeah, that was on another podcast. We're not mentioning that. Stevie, we need you on here.
Yeah.
It was.
I say Bruno. Yeah,
Oh, you mean as a player? Like,
Yeah, no, I met him for half an hour and I thought he was, I thought
Was that when did you back down after you said he didn't run back?
No, can't we? No, I met him for half an hour and I thought, to be fair, you speak to people about him in terms of at the club and they say he's a good type and he's hard-working, really looks after the staff. And that was the thing that impressed me most when the staff said he looked after the staff, looks after the people. So, yeah, I'd say Bruno.
Right. I've always been open-minded with people like
What are we doing? What are we doing here? Are we doing a serious thing or not, Gary?
Exactly, no, forget about it.
Jesus, let's not do it. Don't do it, right? We're talking about it when we're having a tea. We're not giving it to you.
He's been open-minded.
I want to know who he's going to say, though.
But I can't finish it now. Leave it.
Yeah, nice.
Carry on.
Yeah, get some rays, Roy. Chill and get some rays. Yeah. Who's there?
No, but it's great. Jokes aside, no, it's great when you play against sports people and then you end up working with them. You go, but jokes aside, with the people I would have played against, they were the enemy. But I always thought, I'm sure they're pretty decent people when off the pitch or when you meet them outside. Obviously, for us now, when we're all retired, I've enjoyed that side of it and working in the media, meeting people that are your enemy, and then you become friends with them. And you look. The bottom line is, I look at people, particularly in sport, I go, they were doing the best for their team, and you're doing the best for yours, and that's it. That's where the battle is. But when you're finished, then you're like, that's cool.
I love that now we're finished. Where you you're with different people and different.
It's like your battle's over, isn't it? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like there's, we can't do any more for our clubs really, or for whoever.
This is why I find it really strange. Like opposing fans, like the fans who were against us, like me with Tottenham or Chelsea, they can still be so bitter and twisted about it when you can't do anything to actually harm them. You've done what you did at this, and you think like they would say to me, "Oh, can I have a picture?" And you say, yeah, sure. And they'd say, I support Chelsea. And then they say, can I have a picture? Yeah. I want to take the piss out of my mates. I said, why would I want to do that? I'm an Arsenal person, so why would I want you to be able to take the piss out of my Arsenal mate? I said, listen, I can't hurt you now. Just be lovely. Be lovely and nice, man. I'm just going to go about my business now.
You know what, Righty? They still see you, and a bit me, I have it as well, maybe all of us. They still see you as that player. They can't shake off what you were like on the pitch. So they're going to have that little bit of needle with you. It can be, particularly if you've been involved in a big club, and you have to be on your guard. No, if you have to be on your guard. Someone they're ready to pounce on you with some stupid comment.
Yeah. Is there anyone who's been like kind of your hero growing up, and then you met them and you were so glad that you did have them as a hero?
I like
do you know what I
Brian
mean? Because you don't know how they are, do you?
But do you think hero's a bit strong? I think you have to be careful saying people are heroes.
Keegan as well. Keegan,
like
when I was younger, was
right. You might have respect for me.
And then I met him and he was really cool.
Who was that?
Keegan was like, when I met Keegan, it was like, he was the first person. When I met him, I was really like, whoa.
Yeah.
Same with, and Kenny Dalglish, when I first met them. And, you know, with Kenny, all Kenny done was took the piss out of me for the whole time because that's what he does. He's just bantering it. But like, Keegan was really, I kind of stopped me in my tracks, like Kevin Keegan. You know?
What helps you, what we all do now, I think, obviously we played sport. When you do the medium, where it is, and people obviously behind the scenes, I still think we all deep down like being part of a team then as well. Yeah. You're still working with a team and trying to be a decent person with people, and that's a nice challenge for ex-sports people, I think.
Yeah.
Next question. What's something about football that was better in our day and something that's definitely better now?
I'd probably say that the privacy. You can't go anywhere now, innit? I'd probably say what we had back then is, you know, you could go somewhere. There weren't no phones, everything around.
Phones.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. You know what I mean? It's
not good enough for players.
It's terrible for players now. Terrible for players.
Does your mind play tricks in you? Or we'll go back to when we played. Didn't there seem to be better characters around the game, wasn't there? No, it seemed that way.
Yeah.
It seemed to be characters.
Then
when
we were playing, they were saying, "Oh, Stambols or Rodney Marsh."
I know we're saying that, aren't we? Yeah, back in our day.
And Bestie.
But they get told they can't do interviews now, and I don't think they can show the personality sometimes.
I think a lot of them do interviews all the time now. To be fair to them, they're expected to do it, and I think they do it.
But do you think they're like
I've like robotic, don't
That's exactly.
a bit like Declan Rice being told what to say.
Do you think back in our day that we probably said as little as possible at times? I know maybe there was the odd interview.
No, but you said how you felt though. It's just like someone like James Maddison will say something. He'll just speak his mind and speak this, and everyone says, "Oh, really?" Some people say, "I listen to him. He doesn't even play. He's injured." But he speaks his mind because he's got personality, and then people dig him out.
Gary, I got in trouble for a lot of things I said. So your honourable player's not saying much.
No, but you weren't. You were the exception. You weren't really the sort of the barometer of every player that was playing. I don't think you're quite unique.
You're unique.
I think the TV, and not just because we do the TV, but you couldn't imagine going back, could you, and not having... I mean, I just love watching all the games on TV, so the thought of going back to sort of the 80s when you were a kid and it was just...
Not watching telly.
Like, it was just match of the day.
Yeah.
And then I always remember when ITV got live football, must have been like... It was like
one game a match. Was that the big match? The big match.
But it was like, it wasn't... You know, the thought of going... So I think the way the football is now TV-wise, and some supporters don't like that, and, you know, there's different kick-off times, I get that. But in terms of me watching, you can just watch so much football on TV that you couldn't in the past.
I'm going to say this.
If you can afford it, James.
Yeah.
If you can afford, because like the thing you can't take was when I was young, I knew I was going to be able to watch the FA Cup on terrestrial TV. Now, I'm not going to dig people out, but I'm saying that now, you know, if you want to watch, you have to have a BT, you have to have Amazon, you have to have Sky subscriptions to watch stuff. It's different for the youngsters now to watch something. Like, I know I can watch the FA Cup final. That's going to happen now they don't know.
Do you think football players are technically better now and tactically better of an understanding of the game?
Be careful with that, Gary.
No, I know it's a can of worms. Do you think players, when you watch them now, en masse, are technically better than we were when we played? I'm not saying it's a positive, but I 100% think they are.
Nope.
Oh, they are.
No, I don't.
They are.
We have to analyse games at weekend. We watch
across the board.
Right. No. But the way we look at it, could we play in the modern game?
I'm just looking across the board of all 20 teams in the Premier League. Every player now, whether it's centre-back, a goalkeeper, or whether it's a winger or a midfield player, they all can handle the ball, I think, under pressure.
Yeah, but then let's go. No, because like if you're going to do that, then let's go back to centre half. So who's the
Alan Hansen, Gary Pallister.
Let's go back. Pally. I was going to say Pally. Right? But that's the time, isn't it? They could play.
So you don't think the game's technically better now?
No, I think it's technically more.
I think they're trying to play out more from the. Yeah, it is in that
more
sense.
technical.
Okay. Get yourself involved with the best people around you. If you have the talent, you put the work. That's the only thing that you have, because you can have the talent, you don't have the right people around you. I think it's very difficult to do it.
Questions from our community, and we're starting.
Great form, girl.
And the first one is from George, who's in Nottingham. It's been reported that Ange Postecoglou may be sacked after just 7 games in charge. How long should a manager be given?
You know what? I was thinking about this on the flight over here, and I was thinking, when they sign a contract, should they be given a season? Because it stops all that speculation.
I don't know about a season. A season's along if you're like teams who are panicking now, particularly if, like, just say, for example, Forest couldn't get away from the bottom and they're panicking about relegation. The year is, I don't think you should be guaranteed a year, but obviously 7 games is not right either, is it?
But do you not
almost
think
have a transfer window? Almost like January or something like that, like they can't change your manager.
I think they have something like that in Italy or something. I think a manager.
You'd get more managers sacked. I think you'd get more managers sacked if you said managers. I think clubs would say we have to change because we can't change after this, so you don't even have a chance.
But the stats
you might say we'll give them a 4 or 5 games to the end of February, see how we are going into March, and all of a sudden thinking
you
they can't.
You wouldn't just take a risk with your manager if you ain't sure about change.
No, but I think if you had any doubts, you'd sack him, wouldn't you? If you had any doubts, you'd think.
This is why there's too much on the line for people to. Like, even if they make the kind of like, they appoint a manager and then it's not going well, like you look at Ange at the moment, how long do you wait?
But you know, right, I'd like to know the stats of when they change a manager, that how many managers then don't turn it around. You know what I mean? That's not, everyone thinks change the manager, and you change the manager, and the results still don't do it. We've seen that over the last few years.
Yeah.
And obviously the pressure in the Premiership is extreme now on managers, whether it be near the top or the bottom. And I think it'll be worse the next few months because the promoted teams look like
they look all right.
are in with a chance. Yep. Whereas the last few years, you've mentioned it, Jamie, everyone's thinking, well, they'll probably go back down. Yeah. There's definitely more panic for like Forest and maybe Brentford, these other clubs where we've been stable the last few years.
But the thing with Ange though is that it's not coming from the media or us or people that run us back. It's his own supporters. We're only commenting on the supporters who are going for.
But you know where the turmoil comes as well. So you get rid of the manager. A lot of the staff are leaving. So you bring the manager, new staff all the time. It's chopping. Where players are going to training.
I think he'll get to the next international break.
Is this one not obvious? I mean, if you think about, has there ever been a manager selected with a bigger departure of style from Nuno to Ange? I've never seen. I mean, 7 games that Ange has had, he's trying to obviously play his own way in which he plays, which is completely different.
What's that say about the owner?
Is this not obvious that he was going to struggle, like trying to adapt them in the first?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Well, who makes that decision? Because the least you want to do for the players, you want the players to say, okay, he's gone, but at least this fella comes in, we do the same thing, like what Schlock done with Liverpool. He came in and let them do exactly what they're doing. It's a total different... I
understand that, right, but surely the football, I go back to football intelligence, but surely if your manager comes in with a different style or whatever it might be, the players can adapt to it. We talk about styles, but if you're a clever player, the top players, I think, I don't know, can be a change. Pick up things pretty quickly. Go, you want me to do that? Yeah.
But Roy, if you're Milenkovic as a centre-back, right, and you need cuddling and you need protecting from a tight back four, and you've been used to having midfield players in front, all of a sudden you've got a split. You've got a split here, and you've got to start playing out, and then all of a sudden you've got to start defending one-on-one.
You mentioned that player, so what? So he needs to play in that system for the rest of his career?
No, but let's say you're Everton, you've recruited Keane, Tarkowski, you put Milenkovic in at Forest. Those types of clubs have signed those players as sturdy back four centre-halves that have got basically full-backs tucked in. Yeah. They've not signed them to be like one-on-one centre-halves. Like, I'm trying to think of another club that have do the other way where, Tottenham with Romero and Van der Ven, they've got those players that mean they can play one-on-one. Yeah. It's such a departure for the players.
I get that, but sometimes if you're a defender and you're used to, I still think you can speak to other players and go, listen, for example, we saw Liverpool, give away a goal. It took, like, situations in a match where you go, listen, whatever what your philosophy is, certain situations in the game, just sit in. Yeah. You don't have to be gung-ho for the next 5-10 minutes. The game.
But Ange's so prescriptive about how he tells his teams to play. His full-back, his centre-backs have to go...
He's back 3 in the last couple of games, I think, maybe for one of those reasons.
Yeah, but he's making them do things. It's like Amorim coming in from Ten Hag. All of a sudden, you're asking Bruno or players like that to do completely different things.
Yeah. But I was going to say about midfielders.
Your job as a player to be able to adapt.
But Roy, I'll give you an example at United, right? And you'll be able to sort of testify to this. You play in midfield with Paul Scholes or Nicky Butt, right, for 5-6 years. Once Sebastian Veron comes in, you've got to play in a 3. Now, I'm not saying that you didn't start playing well or Scholesy or Butty didn't start playing well, but all of a sudden the dynamic was like, what's going on? I know we had the same manager, but it was such a massive change for us that. And it was like, I didn't have my 2 strikers to play into. So like, my game had gone a little bit in terms of on the ball. You probably didn't have the passes into the front. Yeah. So everything changed. To me, it's like that.
Yeah, but what you do as a club, if you think you're bringing Veron and these people and the manager are trying to try something different, then you have to adapt to it. So if you don't have 2 options, I might only have 1, then you have to learn.
Well, we didn't adapt very well. We won 1 league in 4 years.
I get that.
Whereas previously we'd won. I mean, if you think about...
Yeah, but that's just not on one situation with a player.
But I think the changing system and that dynamic definitely impacts...
What happened when United win 20 or 30 years without winning a league, or Liverpool? That happens to clubs, Gary. You can't just pin it on...
No, but it was as soon as we went back to 2 up, the minute we went back to 2-up, we started winning leagues every year
you're more
again.
familiar with it.
Yeah, it just felt like, I'm like, oh my God, it's normal.
All right, well, when you talk about, we've been 2 up front. Name the 2 up front, whoever they might have been.
We had Rooney and Saha up
Fucking
front.
exactly. You know what I mean? You're talking about really good players.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, all these boys, they were making a difference. Not necessarily because all of a sudden you're 2 up and you'd better options.
Do you think any team, any team who gets success, who plays in a pragmatic way, they're always wanting to change. They're always wanting to go, okay, now we want to do this.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not, it's always like, even David Moyes at
West Ham, yeah.
They've won the European trophy 7, but no, it's always, no, we want to go to the next thing.
That's not wrong either, though, is it?
No, I'm just saying, and I think that's one of the reasons you mentioned there, I think that's one of the reasons he comes in. It's like, okay, we're going to bring in maybe a different type of player, and eventually that was always going to be
I think surely as a player, you're working with different systems, but you go away, international football is different. Surely that's part of your growing, or if you're a coach or a manager or you're a pundit, you're working with different companies and you're experiencing new things. Jim, you've mentioned before, you kind of went back to England because of Capello.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go, I just want to learn from a different style. When Ferguson remember he was going to retire, and Sven was supposed to become, and I remember thinking, it'd be nice to learn off something different. So that's surely that players, especially at Nottingham Forest, these players must know, listen, this manager mightn't be here for 2 or 3, we have to be ready to adapt. So what happens when another manager comes to adapt? Ange, and he's got a different style again. Will they be going,
But I think
that suits us?
You're talking like bookends, though, here, right? You're talking like completely. I think fans have got a right to want to be more entertained when they get used to sort of like a certain way of playing, like Forest or West Ham. They think, right, okay. But I think you can't go from, say, for instance, say, David Moyes or Nuno to Graham Potter and Ange.
Yeah.
The departure is so big. You've almost got to say, right, okay, how do we get there over a period of 2 or 3? Because you've got not just got to transform the players, you've got to transform your recruitment, you've got to transform the mentality, you've got to do everything.
Yeah, but that's where the manager, that's where the time comes into it. The manager, you must know you're not going to get that time. So it is on Ange a little bit. But if Forest got to Swansea and they're winning a few minutes ago, are you telling me that's down to 1 or 2 set pieces towards the end? That's down to a footballer going, we're playing Swansea, a championship, we're in a winning position. And when a new manager goes in, you do need a couple of wins at the first few games, or else straight away, and obviously a difficult start. His first 4 games are away from home. You'll defend him a little bit here. First game was at Arsenal, I think, obviously. Yeah. So straight away you go, and what happens? You don't win in the first 4 or 5, and everyone then, that's where the pressure piles up. But obviously Ange's got to also say to the players, lads, roll your sleeves up a little bit as well and dig in.
But when you're saying they can adapt, like midfielders, if they're not like workhorses, how do you become that? If he wants to do this massive pressing game, if you haven't got the legs, how do they suddenly be able to do that?
They've been used to sitting back, haven't they?
But I think if you're going to be a footballer, the legs are pretty important. Do you know what I mean? You do the big legs.
But Roy, if you've got Chris Wood up front, you've got Milenkovic at the back as an example. It's very difficult for those 2 players to be able to push up the pitch. One can't press from the front and the other one can't really play a high line. So Ange, think about Ange's game and how he plays. He does push them up and he wants that. They're going to be frightened to death doing that. I would have been.
Yeah, Forest had their success last year on playing that. It was perfect.
But they were deeper last year.
But if these players at Forest, traditionally, go back to Brian Clough, where they play lovely football, is that the only way now they can go forward as a football club in Europe and going, we're just going to sit in?
No, I agree with the change and transition, but it can't come so as a big shock.
And maybe Ange is not probably trying to do that. He's probably not going, lads, I want you all freestyle and go for it. Maybe he's going, I do want you to sit in a little bit, but they're maybe just not doing it well.
How do we think it'll end this? Because he's not going to hang around, is he, the owner? I don't think.
Oh, listen, it's just a matter of, he's a dead man walking, as they say. Yeah. It's
already.
You always look, unfortunately for us, we sit here and we comment on clubs, and we always go, the next game, have they got Chelsea? I think Forest have Chelsea.
Yeah,
just say Chelsea going 2-0. We'll all be thinking, it'd be gone, because owners then have had 2 weeks to sit in the international break. If they don't do it before them. So it's almost managers, we're talking about, have you got 2 or 3 months? No, they've got 2 or 3 games.
Wild West,
that's it.
He should be given a chance.
If Ange goes in there, if you're a manager, you're not doing your homework as a player. What club would I like to go to? If you're a manager, if Ange was sitting there, you go, Ange, if you don't get a good start, you could be gone after 2 months. You go, yeah, no. I think they know that. Again, we've got to talk about.
He really does think.
Yeah, shake hands with the devil. He said it. Right.
Surely he's got to give him.
I hope. Yeah, I'm not saying that's right. It's absolutely wrong.
The next question is from Lisa, who's a United fan.
Right, Lisa.
Manchester United are 4 points off the tally this time last year when Eric Ten Hag was verge of getting sacked. Cameron was to leave Manchester United. Who would replace him?
Oh. Toss a coin. Honestly, it's just bring someone in.
He's obviously not been sacked yet. What do you think the Sunderland game gives him a period of sort of grace for?
You're always going to beat Sunderland. What did I say to you?
I know.
You don't say, but when you say gives him grace, from the time he's been there to now, how much more grace do you need in respect of a team that's got to progress and do better than what they're doing? how much more time? I don't know what you say. If Sunderland beat him, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like leading up to this
Maybe
point
we
now.
should
You're
be
thinking.
talking. I know it's a question, but our tone sometimes can be big pressure. But it's a mad world of football management now, isn't it? I always say give the man a chance.
Still, Roy?
Yeah, I'd still say give the man a chance. Absolutely. Another week.
Who's the managers that have been speculated? Gareth Southgate, I seen again. That came up.
Is there a manager that let's just go to Utopia where you can pick any manager in the world right now and bring him in? You know that manager is going to be a success at Manchester United. Is there one manager that you think?
You don't know, Gary, don't you?
No, I agree. But my point is, if you could say, let's just go off the shelf and pick one manager, plump them in that sort of manager's chair at Manchester United and think, right, that's as certain as you can probably get that person's going to be successful. Who is that manager?
Listen,
I've said it for years. I'd like to see Atletico Madrid, Simone go in there.
Simone.
I'd like to see him go in there. I know his mate's gone to Arsenal, but I think he would just create havoc, but good havoc. I think he'd rock up to that place and say, hey, this is how you do things. No guarantee, but I just like to see his personality, even his track record.
Conte.
I think I'd go with that. I'd go with Simeone.
I
like Simeone.
And people might think styles of football. They beat Real Madrid, but they scored 5 last weekend. This idea that, again, he's defensive. Yeah, he doesn't like his team's giving up too many goals or chance.